Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Press Play Lifestyle Inspired Podcast. It's a podcast that does interviews with inspirational people like my guest, as well as provides custom content and monologues on topics to help our listeners, that's you, find the resources, tools, and support they need to be their best inspired self. So welcome. How are you today?
Yes, hello, Jackie. How are you doing? Thank you so much. I feel so excited.
Oh, I'm excited too. I'm so glad that you were able to find time. I know you've been so busy, right? So first we should introduce you though, because we know each other and we got to let folks know who you are. So this is my friend and colleague, Barbara, and she does all the things. So I'm gonna let you tell them about all your things. But asked you, and you were so kind enough to accept. I asked you to come on the podcast because I like to bring in women that I think inspire others to the show to see if what you're doing in your life can be of support to other people. And very recently, something I've seen a lot more of on your different channels and profiles is Chemo Buddy, which is just this lovely thing that you're doing. And so I know you're doing lots and lots of great things, but that was like, as soon as I saw that, a friend of mine actually is recovering right now from, two of my friends are recovering from double mastectomies.
Wow.
And then I saw, what you were doing and reaching out, and I thought, oh, how could I not have her here? Right. So that's why I was like, oh, that's right. We should have her come on. But I know you're doing tons and tons of other things. So would you like to tell the audience a little bit about what you're up to?
Okay, where do I start? Well, first I will start by saying thank you, Jackie. I call all women queens because I look at you as royalty. So you are Queen Jackie. So thank you so much for letting me on your wonderful platform. So let me start off by saying what my platform is, and I'll get into some other things that I do. So where I started from, like let's get to the really deep nook of why I do what I do. Well, first of all, when I was much younger, I was very shy. I was a very shy little girl. And I was basically, and a lot of people probably have too when they were younger, if you're shy and don't really get along with others, not so much I didn't want to get along with others, but they didn't really want to get along with me. I was bullied and I was basically talked down to a lot when I was younger, from the age of 8, well, around the age of 5 to like 7 years old. So with that, being a child, that can put a lot in your head. First of all, you think you're not worthy. You think that you don't have a purpose. You think that you're just here. You don't even know reason why you're here. You're just kind of, in your mind as a child, you're just here, and your parents are sending you to school and saying, okay, you got to do what you have to do. That happened to me, and to the point where it really, really made me even more lonely when I was growing up, when I was younger. So when I was to come home from school, my mother, now this is funny, because my mother was the one that was like, I hope I don't say it wrong, but the one that she was like okay, you got to do this, you got to do that, else you got to get better in life, and you got to make sure you get your grades and stuff. So she was the commando, I call her. My dad on the other side was the opposite. He wanted to make sure I was doing right, but he was really sweet and, would give me encouraging words and all that stuff. So I had like the yin and yang, as they say. Loved them both, but they had two different worlds when it came to, really teaching me certain things in life, which they both did. So with that, I would come home every day from school and I would like be crying or just, really just sad. And my mother's like, what's going on? I don't understand why you're crying. So she was, and I understood when I got older why she was the way she was. That's why I really love her now. And she did instill a lot of toughness in me. But my dad at that time, he's like, okay, she's a child. What are you doing? You're just yelling at her. Just to wrap it up. So my dad found out, I kind of finally told him I really wasn't, the kids don't really like me. It seemed like, I'm shy. He's like, well, you know what, Barbara? First of all, I want you to always remember when you go to school or whatever you do, that you are special, that you have a special gift in you. Now, he started that in me, and then he said that you are a diamond in the rough. It's just, something you have to mold it, and shape it, and everything's going to come out right. And then you'll become this wonderful, pretty diamond that you are now. But you have to deal with a lot of things in order to get to that point. And it's going to hurt sometimes, and people might say some things, but don't let it get to you, because you're just molding, it's molding you, and it's getting you to a better place. Now, he's telling me this, at the age of 7. And that's when the
That is
diamond
awesome.
happened.
Your dad is amazing. I love
love
your
him.
dad.
I call him my rock. He's my rock. So, with that, and then dealing with my mother, I mean, she loved me dearly. I don't want people thinking that, oh, she was a horrible mother. She wasn't. In fact, she loved me so much. That's why she was on me a lot, because I was only child. I didn't have any brothers and sisters. And she was like, she went through a lot in her life. She just had an 8th grade education. She came from Mississippi. She met my dad, and then that was a whole world, because it was interracial marriage, because my dad was white and she's black. So that was a whole nother story of itself. And then me coming in, and then people call me Oreo cookie and all that stuff when I was younger, because they's like, well, you're black outside and you're white inside. And, and I was just like, really? So all that was kind of, but this with the hope of what my dad saying what he said. So moving forward, when I got in teenage years, still, holding on to what my dad kept telling me. And like I said, my mother was still making sure I was instilling education and making sure I was doing what I could do. A tragic thing happened, and this would happen. I know we in a book together. The story that's in the book is about my dad and about getting through adversity. Because at the age of 17, my father passed away, and he didn't just pass away from a sickness or disease or a car accident, but he passed away. He was murdered. So with that, that took a big toll on me too. I was just about to graduate from high school, and he was my rock. I call him my rock. He was the one that told me I had the diamond in me and it's growing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, now my rock is gone. What do I do? And to the point where I was lost it when I found out about it. They had to take me to the hospital. Stayed in the hospital for 3 days because I was on suicide watch. Okay, and with that, my mother was like, "Oh my God, what is she going to do to herself?" She's just, they had all these meds in me to kind of keep me just, stable. But then another confirmation came in my life. So a nurse came in the room and she said, basically, I don't know who you are, like deeply about your family. I just know that there's somebody that passed in your life. And I just want to let you know that, whatever you're thinking of. And it's funny because I'm like, I didn't tell her nothing. She just came to me, because she had to come in and do her regular routine. And she said, whatever you're thinking of, Barbara, I don't believe that person that passed away would want you to think those thoughts. She said, because, for some reason, she said, I don't know what is popping up, but I didn't see you like this. And she kept grasping to something. And she just finally said, this diamond in the rough. Now, she didn't know my dad. I never knew her. All of a sudden, she comes out with this diamond in the rough thing. Well, Jackie, can you believe me? Laying there in that bed, like half in medication in me. And I was like, all of a sudden, pop. My brain just opened up at that point. Those words that she said, it was like my dad was talking through her. And that saved me from saying, you know what, I want to let my life go. So at that point in time, Jackie, I told myself, whatever I do, I said, I'm going to, at that point in time, because I was a teenager and I was hearing those words, I'm going to live for my dad and move forward and make sure that no person feels like they're not worthy, that they're not special, and they don't have a gift in them. And that's what started the Diamond Factor. So I had to tell that story because a lot of people are like, well, why do you call your brand the Diamond Factor? And I'm like, well, I got to tell you the story.
Why wouldn't you call it that? That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, your dad is amazing. Oh,
I'm telling you, Jackie, it's just, and every time I think of him, it just puts a smile on my face because I'm just so glad. Things happen for reasons. There's always a sign of something in your life, and I just want to tell your audience that don't let the signs go to the wayside in your life, good, bad, or ugly. I know some of them might be ugly, but there's a reason for it, because I always tell people it's a stepping stone to something even better that's going to happen in your life, even though sometimes it might hurt, but it's going to strengthen you. So with the sign, with him telling me about the diamond in the rough, and then the nurse coming in talking about the diamond in the rough, and I'm like, okay, something's here. I got to keep this diamond going. But
I
moving.
had my first sign too. I had a rough childhood. My mom has 5 husbands. Yeah,
Oh,
well, not all of them now, but
but
and when we were younger, we moved a lot when the drug dealers or the bill collectors caught up. And it's kind of a crazy
mm-hmm,
thing. And went to visit my dad, my biological father, who passed this year. And
mm-hmm,
he didn't know what to do with kids. It was my littlest brother and I at that time. He was like 2 and I was 4. And to
mm-hmm.
make a short story short, um, we did something made him angry, and he backhanded me. But I was so
Oh,
little that I went flying across the room,
oh
and
yeah.
I hit the wall at the back of my head and fell behind a couch. So that's how I was that little that I could fold up behind a couch. And
Mm-hmm.
I must have hit my head pretty hard because I started seeing things. But I did, right. And
Oh,
it's interesting because I'm not like Bible thumpy.
mm-hmm,
I believe, but I don't like put my stuff out on other folks. But I actually
mm-hmm.
saw like a charcoal sketch of Jesus's head, and
Wow.
I might cry. I always cry when I tell the story, but
Oh my God. Wow.
and I was like, I'm good. This life is too hard already. Like, I'm just good. And he's like, you're not done yet. Get up. You're not done yet. Get up.
That's
And my
it.
whole life, I've had over and over like stuff come up. Like this year's
Yeah.
been a crazy year too. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever I like get, just scared or overwhelmed
Yeah.
or life
Mm-hmm.
takes a sideways
Text.
turn, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, just get up. You're not done yet. And so I
See?
think we all have, if you listen,
Yes.
might not be a
That's the key.
postmaster's head, right? It might be a nurse who's compassionate and talks
Yeah.
about diamonds. But if you listen,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you can be led to a purpose, a reason for
Yes.
being here. I
Yes.
know purpose is a lot of your work, and I think that we might all like have a different way we might get there. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about how many times you fall. Thank goodness, because I fall all the time. But
I know. Me too.
but get back up because you're not done yet. And so I
Uh,
love that. So I'm on board with the signs. Like, get on up.
Ooh, I love that, Jackie. You're not done yet. Oh,
You're not
see, I
done
call that, I always tell people when I'm coaching and when I'm talking to people that, there's an anchor. And I call it the anchor in your life to anchor you back to where, when things get all, I always say when things get all crazy, when there's like the hurricanes and the earthquakes and all that kind of stuff happening in your life, but you have that anchor. And you have the anchor about, you're not done yet. And I have the anchor about the diamond factor. And so I tell people when I talk to them, I'm like, the diamond factor I represent, I equal to your purpose, passion, and drive. Because I think all comes together, PPD, I call it.
I like it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And I tell people that, if you have a purpose and passion together, oh my God, it's just you can't, you ignite that, it just blows up. And then when you know for sure about both, I don't care what happens in life. Now I'm going to tell you, my stories, and we all have our stories.
Hmm.
And I tell people your stories are your stepping stone. I know it doesn't feel like it at the time. I know you're like, yeah, Barbara, really? This has happened to me, or, abuse or what have you. And I said, I know. And I know that we're human and we go through things and it hurts like heck. It hurts like heck. But you have to understand it's that molding process. It's a molding process. I mean, like I lost my father when I was 17. And then real quickly, at the age of 23, I was raped. Okay. At the age of 43, I found I had cancer in my uterus, and that's I'm going to tell a little bit about the chemo place. That's why I'm connected with them a little bit. So I found that out because I didn't want to think about what they call the big C. I call it the little ugly C. I don't know why they call it the big C, but
Yeah, don't give
anyway,
it all that
um,
power. Don't give it that
yeah,
power.
yeah. Don't give cancer that. That's why I call people that going through cancer conquerors instead of cancer survivors. Because the word survivors to me is like, ugh.
It's
I
like
love cancer conquerors, so I always call them.
continuing to victimize someone, right? Like
Yeah.
using that.
Ugh.
Words
I
matter.
can't take it. Yeah, words are powerful. So I mean, just going through the cycles of what I went through, and then, like I said, with finding out about the uterus cancer, I had to have an urgent hysterectomy done because it was so bad and I was bleeding so bad. I don't want to get in, detail. Some of the audience will be like, ugh. I was bleeding so bad that they had to rush me from urgent care to the hospital to the bed and say, okay, we have to basically do a hysterectomy on you. They were trying to save my ovaries because they didn't want me to go through,
Early
instant
menopause.
menopause. But after I told them, I said, look, this was me on the table telling them, if I have to go through another surgery after this because you've seen whatever other cancer cells or whatever, you might as well just get everything, just take it all because it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to do half. So they said, okay, Barbara, we'll make sure, and then if we have to, we're just letting you know before we put you under. They put me under, woke up. They basically told me they had to take everything because they wanted to make sure that the cancer cells didn't get through the lymph nodes in my body, and then and that was a whole nother story if that would happen. So the nice thing about it, again, is I didn't have to do the radiation that they said I might have to do, and I didn't have to do any chemo because they were able to get rid of all the cancer cells at that time. Now I'm in remission for it's been 9 years now. I've been in remission and cancer conqueror. And that led me to go to the other platform that you mentioned about Chemo Buddies for Life. So it's funny how, like I said, I'm on my journey doing my Diamond Factor because I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, and I do what Jackie does right now. I put people on the Diamond Spotlight Factor where I want to show the diamonds. I want people to know how important they are. And I'm going to ask Jackie to get on my show, just put her out on Front Street right now. And
I
anybody else out
accept.
there.
I accept.
You're going to be on my show. But so that's what I do. But then with all that going on, like you said that I do a lot, but I love it because it's helping others, is I met this wonderful lady, Tamara, putting her out there, Tamara L. Hunter. And she basically was she's a cancer conqueror. She had breast cancer. Ooh, and her mother had cancer, her daughter, and her father. So her
Oh,
father passed, her mother passed from it. Even her brother had it too. So then she had it. So I'm like, OMG, you're talking about a stepping stone and not liking it at that time. Every time I hear a story, it's like, Tamir, oh my God. So when she told me the story of what she's doing, so she said she didn't want anybody to be alone while they're going through the cancer journey, as you would call it, and going through the chemo or whatever else that they're dealing with, radiation. She said, because it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And you need a person in your ear or next to you holding your hand or talking to you, or just, you can cry with them, hug with them, whatever. So she called it Chemo Buddies for Life. She started last year, where she called Chemo Buddies. So I met her 4 months ago and I've seen what she was doing. I'm like, I'm in it. I'm with you, Tamara. I am in it. Whatever I can help you with. If you want me to interview cancer conquerors, if you want me to be a volunteer, or anything. And she's like, Barbara, but I know you're doing a lot. I said, you know what? The biggest thing in life that I always tell people is if you can help others with what they're doing, whatever's going to come in your life is going to come, because that's just how it is. You give, you help, and automatically whatever's going on with you, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to work itself out. We're here to help each other. I always stress that we have to come together. So I told her, I said, no. I said, I got people know me, the Diamond Factor, I'm working it, but I want to make sure that I'm giving myself to a cause that's helping others. And it's dear to my heart because I'm in remission and I'm a cancer conqueror. So I told her, I said, let's just do this thing. So
awesome. Yeah.
that's where that came in it.
So if you send me the information, I'll make sure the bottom of the podcast we point to your Tamara as well, so that she can get some, I don't know, the resources available to others. A
Yes.
good friend of mine, three, I told you earlier too, but three friends of mine are in that journey or at some level before, after. And another really
Yes.
great resource is actually ABCD, which is
ABC.
after breast cancer diagnosis, ABCD. And
Ooh.
they provide sometimes financial support. They
Mhm.
provide phone call, some other things. So that might be something your friend
Yes.
I just want to connect with, so that they can support one another. But it's saved one of my friends. She said it probably kept
Mm,
her here on the planet with the rest of us. The cancer wasn't going to
yes.
take her. She's gonna
No.
she's gonna take
Mm-mm.
herself. So um
Cancer conqueror.
yeah,
Well, I always say we're kicking cancer in the butt.
that's
That's what I always say.
right. Exactly.
But yeah,
Oh, that's wonderful. So if you don't mind sharing details, we'll make sure that's at the bottom of the podcast as well, and
will
the notes
do.
pieces. So wow. So the Diamond Factor is lovely. I just love the
Thank
story
you.
so very much. And
Thank you.
um the chemo buddies, I've seen so much lately. There's some like this time of year is probably a great time of year to, if you haven't really got involved, to kind of be that listening ear or that hand holding friend. Now would be
Yes.
a wonderful time to do that, I'm sure. um and so you got all that going on and your platform going on, and I think, I don't know, maybe I don't know, isn't there a book that's just come out recently as well?
Yes, there's a book. Well, like I said, we were in a collaboration book together. And then Barb decided to say, you know what, I think I want to be in another book. So and if I don't mind if I hold up real
Please
quickly,
show,
it's,
promote.
if you can see it, I hope I'm doing it right.
Yep,
Because
31
sometime
ways of influence.
yes. And this is another collaboration book with some lovely ladies. Y'all know you can't see the pictures of
Oh,
them,
we
but
can
I'm
actually,
somewhere
you're
around
showing
there.
well. You're showing up
And
well.
this came because of another platform part of, it's called Celebrate You Women in Wellness. And we're a Facebook group platform, and we also do different events throughout the year to help women and to help. The biggest thing is celebrating you. Because a lot of times, as you know, Jackie, we do so much stuff. We have so many hats as women. We never get a chance to just say, "Usa," like I always say, and just
Yeah.
celebrate yourself and just do something for you, just for you. Nothing's wrong with that. So I met a wonderful, like I said, wonderful ladies like yourself. Her name is Lawana Bradford. She's basically the founder of Celebrate You, and I'm co-founder of it. She may be co-founder, and we met a lady that is a publisher, and she's also in faith, and she's a wonderful lady. But she was doing a book called 30 Ways of Influence, and it comes from Proverbs 31 in the Bible about the woman, the virtuous woman. So she said she wanted women to be in the book that presents, certain
Oh,
qualities. And she talked to Lawana, she's in there, she talks about strategies and stuff like that. Then I talk about purpose. So she basically said, Barbara, I would love you to be in the book, and I think you have a good platform, yeah, and everything. And I'm like, yes, anything to get out there and let people know how special they are. That's why I keep telling her, I said, I am a cheerleader to that. So I have a chapter in the book on purpose. I talk a little bit about the little story that I told you about when I was shy. And the biggest thing, the chapter is called don't neglect the signs in your life. That's what I was saying earlier.
yeah, look at that. That's great. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So it's based on making sure that, like I said, good and bad and ugly, it's a stepping stone. I really want to stress that because I know we be so emotionally involved in it because at the time, like I said, it's the hurt, the pain, it's the crying, everything. But through all that, I just want people to know that that's a stepping, because it makes you so much stronger if you let it. And that's the biggest word, if you let it. Because if you don't, you can go down the other road where it's not going to do anything and you're going to get in depressed mode. And
Yeah.
believe me, I've
It's
been
a
there.
it's a stepping stone or a slide, but the slide
Yeah,
goes
I like that. I got to take that, Miss Jackie.
right. And I think I'm so on board with you there because and I don't want to go into my 8 billion stories, but I grew up less than optimal, and I had similar things happen to me as well in terms of men doing things that I did not invite them to do.
To do, yeah.
And we were poor. We lived in a car for a year in Michigan, which is cold, so it's not a good place to be living in a car. And I could have easily slid the way some of my family did, and even feel justified, right? Even
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
justified that all this happened, so of course this is where I am.
yeah.
But I'm not done yet, I guess. I'm not. There are
That's,
other people out there that are amazing, like you said. Maybe they're not diamonds just yet, but diamonds need pressure, right?
yeah,
They need, and the pressure is those
yeah.
challenges, and your challenges become your
Mhm.
your story, your biggest strength, the way that you
Yeah.
can touch other hearts.
Hmm.
And I love women like you and meeting women like us that we celebrate other royalty. You know,
Yes.
you are no less a queen by straightening your other fellow royal's crown. Um, we can all win. We can all
Yes.
win.
We can all win. Yeah.
But sometimes you need that buddy, right? That someone that reminds you that you're just not done yet. You're almost a diamond, but a little bit more coal. You got a little bit more to go. But
Mm-hmm.
you need supportive people
Oh,
in
yeah.
your life to remind
Yes.
you. And as women, I hope we keep collecting each other in this way, because we can be mean. We can
Oh,
be
yeah.
mean to one another.
Ooh.
We can push folks down the slide instead of helping
Like,
them up. You can help them up the stairs, or you can kick them down a slide. And so I like
no.
collecting folks that just like let's pull up together. Like there's
Yes.
room for everyone.
There's room for all of us. There's
Yeah.
so many people. I was just thinking the other day, there's billions and billions and trillions of people out here. So everybody trying to fight for that one thing. I'm like, you don't have to do that. There's for everybody. So let's just, and what's so nice about it, if we come together, guess what? There's a better chance to reach out to even more people.
So
So,
I love this idea of, so you said purpose and drive, and there's a third one, right?
and drive, passion, excuse me, purpose, passion, drive. That, to me, that equals a diamond factor.
Okay. So what is the difference then between purpose and passion? Is like passion sort of like being really into it? Like what do those words mean to you? What does purpose, passion, and drive? What do those words mean to you when you're talking about them?
So with purpose, just like think about it like this. You have a doorknob, okay? So that purpose of that doorknob, so you can open the door. No matter if that doorknob likes it or not. That's the purpose, to open that door. So I tell people, everybody, you're going to have that purpose. You might be skilled in certain areas or have that gift in certain areas. That can never get taken away from you, because that's the purpose that you have in you. Now, when you take that and add it to passion, it becomes even greater, because it's something that you like. If nobody never paid you in life for it, you would still love doing it, because that's your passion. Now, your passion, I always tell people, doesn't always equate to your purpose. Like, I have a passion in chemo buddies for life, but Tamara's the one that's bringing that thing on. That's her purpose and passion. She lives, breathes, gets up, everything with it. I might get up a little bit and breathe a little of it, but then I have my diamond fat and I'm doing other stuff. So, that's my purpose. But the passion, I love her passion because it equals with what I love to do, because I went through what she went through, and I feel I can help in that area. So that's the passion of that. So sometimes people get a little bit like, okay, well, purpose and passion, do they come together? And sometimes they do, but sometimes they might not, because you can have a passion for fruit or a passion for chocolate cake.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's what you like to do, but that's not your purpose to always cook a chocolate cake. And then the drive, to me, I call that the gas of both. Like when you're driving a car and, you're almost getting on empty, which we all been there, where I just got just a little more way to go and I can get to that gas station. I tell people right now, please don't do that. Just a side note. I did it and I ran out, and it's not a good picture. But, just I'm using that as an example, because you don't need to have that little bit of gas to push your passion and drive. I mean, to push your passion and purpose. So you always want to have that drive going, because it keeps you up with your purpose, and then that passion that's behind it. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's amazing. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
I think
just,
I love that
I'm
you
sorry.
I'm sorry. I love that you differentiated the passion and the purpose piece, because I think I might agree that sometimes folks get a little confused, because you can also be a multi-passionate person. You can
Mm-hmm.
have multiple things that you have a strong affinity for, but that doesn't mean that you have to get up and drive all them buses, right? It
Yeah.
can still help a little bit. And because I have a daughter who's on the autism spectrum, and I
Mm.
have a son with an interesting form of sound dysplasia. and 3 of my kids are asthmatic. Like, I'm passionate about those things, right? Making sure we have the resources, support.
Mhm.
But my purpose in life isn't to educate the world about sound dysplasia. Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
it's about making sure I know what I need to know for my son, and
Mhm.
I'm passionate about that piece. But
Yeah.
that's not what my
Yeah.
that's not my doorknob piece, right? There's something else
Mhm.
that's linked to that piece.
That's leading into it. Mhm.
Yeah, and I think maybe I don't know. So I guess I'll ask: do you think people's purpose can change through their life, or is it usually always the same thing?
I tell people that it's again, it's twofold with that, because when you have a special gift or skill in you, I don't care from the age of when you're born to when you die, that skill is always going to be there in your life, but it changes and forms because you're getting older and you're going through those stepping stones and you're going through the all the wins and the trials and tribulations. So yeah, it's going to perfect itself. It might go in other avenues, but it's still going to be there in you. But it does change. A purpose can change, but the actual purpose of what you do, because it's funny, because somebody was telling me, they said, Barbara, you always been so organized. Now, people might not look at that as a purpose, but it really is. That's a skill. They said when you were little, you used to put things in order. When you were 17, you used to make sure everything was in it. When you 20 something, you were in college, you were always making, I mean, it was going, and I was growing in it. I was getting different, but they said you always had that. It was just like you use it in different ways when you're getting older. And then even now, when I'm going to be 52 next year. I don't mind saying
You're
that. And
still beautiful as you ever were.
oh, thank you, Jackie. Because when I turned 50, I was like, oh, I got so much to do. That's the first thing popped in my head.
You
I
weren't
think I
done
got more
yet.
stuff to
You're not done
do.
yet.
I'm not done yet.
Not done yet.
So, with that, like, just answering your question, hopefully I answered your question, because I know I can get into squirrels sometime. That, it's always there, the main purpose of what you have, but it's going to go in different levels because you're growing, and all those other stepping stones are coming into your life. Just
Yeah.
like you said, you have and it's like you might not, because some people have purpose, like, I don't even like my purpose, because I mean, Dad, they always tell me I'm a good speaker. I don't even want to speak. But you know what? That's the purpose of you, but you can use it in different areas.
Yeah.
You don't have to always be on the platform speaking. So that's what I tell people.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that because I never even thought of it at that smart of a gift level, right? So I have actually my master's degree is in technology project management because I'm insanely organized. I enjoy making things go where they need to go. I
Uh-huh.
like it a lot and enjoy it.
Hmm.
I was not shy. I came out talking. I might have been talking before I was born. I talk all my life. And when I was younger, I remember it was like a thing. It was like a negative thing. Like, why you always talk so much? You're always talking.
Yeah.
I always have something to
Totally.
say about everything. And now one of my children is quite the talkative one, and I have to like remind myself,
How you were?
like, don't mess with his thing. That's his thing. Like he can.
Yeah.
That's a skill. Like you would have probably loved to when you were little to have like feel like you could just talk and not
Yeah.
be afraid to speak. And
Yeah.
but those things are gifts that we were given, right? I was
Mhm.
gifted with the ability to be comfortable speaking to anyone at any point ever. Like
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not shy at all.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I'm organized, but then like people are like, was that a really a purpose? Well, it's mine. I'm good at it. It's mine. Like maybe I don't know how I can always turn it into work or money or life, but
Mhm.
it's my thing. And I
Yeah.
remember a pastor told me once, I have a priest, but our pastor told us when I was younger, he said, and I love this because it helps when you're having one of those rough, decades. Um,
Yeah.
he said, God made everyone in his image and he made everyone perfect.
Mhm.
And because of that, he gave every one of us a very, very special thing that's only ours.
Yes.
And so since God gave it to you and you're so great at it, it's actually your purpose to give it away because other people didn't get it. They didn't get that skill. He couldn't give us
Mhm.
all of his greatness,
Mhm.
right? It's too big.
Put
It's
it
that
in
big.
us. Yeah.
So he gave us all a little bit, and that's why we need one another. That's what community is about, because
Bingo.
some of us
Yeah.
are talk, some of us are quiet. Sometimes we need quiet sounds, right?
Ye-
And some of us
Yeah.
are
You
messy.
need the different levels.
We need all the things. And I sometimes worry, and then I get over it because worry doesn't solve anything. But sometimes we're so electronic and we're online all the time. But it's also a gift. It can make us connect to people we would never have seen, never have found the
Mm,
gift that they share. So if
sure.
nothing else, wow, maybe my purpose with all the words I use, and all my organization, I just want, like, I don't need to know all the things, but I sure should share the things that I have. And
Yes.
you don't need all the things, but
Mhm.
your challenges and your steps have given you these resources that you have that I don't.
Yes.
And together we're three, separate we're two, you know, and that's
Yes.
what community is. And that's when we can all be royalty and we all can show up because we are bigger together, much bigger,
Yes.
much
You
bigger.
got it, Jackie. You got it.
Awesome.
The
I love
Diamond Factor.
I'm gonna have to get on board. I want my own pin. Like,
That's a good idea. I might have to have this. Yeah, the little pin thing. Yeah.
totally unrelated, and since we're on here anyway, but someone sent me once, I thought was the sweetest, cleverest thing, and it's something you might think of. They sent me a fake diamond, like a big one,
Okay.
and literally the little note was like, just remember, you know,
Yeah.
you had to get beat up, compressed, go from coal, all this stuff before you
Hmm.
become a diamond. And I thought, who's
Yes.
sending me something? But you know what? That little fake diamond's sitting on my desk.
See?
It's one of my anchors. I have a few.
Anchors.
One of them. It's
It's
one of
one of
them.
your anchors.
But it's a
That
nice
I like that idea. See, you got me thinking. Yes.
one. It was relatively inexpensive, but the other
Yeah.
thing is now with so many things that are electronic, sometimes it's nice to get like a not electronic gift.
You're right. It's fun. Real quickly, I know we're out of time,
Oh, we're
but
on.
I was when I was doing the chemo buddies, and I
Yeah.
had some, and I was over the call because we had a 36-hour virtual give-a-thon just a few weeks ago.
I thought I saw
36
that. Yeah, you
hours.
were on
Yeah.
nonstop, lady friend. Whew.
we because we're looking for buddies and donations. So Tamara, and I told her, I was like, you can't do it alone, Tamara. She was up for the whole 36 hours. Every hour she was there with something going on. So I had a call team. I was with a call team. So I had somebody on watch if they wanted to call to, be a buddy or give a donation within those 36 hours. So one of those wonderful ladies, Queen, her name is Monica. So she sent me, all of a sudden out of the blue, she sent me this card. I don't know if you can.
Says, hey, I just wanted to thank you.
Did I? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And in the card dropped out this little, I don't know if I can, this little key,
Hey, yep.
this little key. And then the key says hope.
Oh, yeah, that's so cute.
Isn't that cute? So, you got to notice she had a picture in the back. That's Monica.
Oh, look at you,
Queen
Monica.
Diamond. Yeah, so
Props to Monica.
Monica. But I just wanted to show this because, like you were just saying earlier, Jackie, that sometimes this is like more than just getting something in an email or a text. Because first of all, we don't even mail stuff like we used to, cards and everything. And just to get this in the mail when you're coming from work and maybe it was a hard day or whatever, and it was funny because that fact there was a lot going on that day with me. And then to see that in the mail when I opened the mailbox, that just opened my heart up even more. And I was like, she took the time out to give me some of that card and the little key with it, with hope. So yeah,
Lovely.
yeah, people, the signs and the anchors, you have to remember those in life. So
That's lovely.
beautiful.
So are there anything that you would like to leave with the audience of, or any parting words? I know that you wanted to make an offer to some of the audience if you're going to do a giveaway of like, something like that. Did you want to
Yeah.
say what that is?
Yeah, well, like I said, on another platform under the Diamond Factor LLC, I do I always want to show the diamonds, and I always want to show people, if you have a business, a special cause, like, what I'm doing with the Chemo Buddies for Life. I do a 15-20 minute interview with you, and I put you on my platform and show you to the world if I can. I got a YouTube channel that I'm working on right now. I always tell people when I am doing their interviews of the numbers that I have, because I want them to know that I'm really trying to put them out there. So if anybody's interested, please, contact me. I think Jackie's going to have my information
Absolutely.
to get with me, and we can set up a time. With that, it's no cost. The only cost that I give is my time to make sure that the diamond shows
Yeah.
and for you and for others.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I am so happy we got to spend this time together.
This
And
is awesome.
yeah, it's fun. I love doing it, and I'm excited that I will be some reciprocity. So I'll be showing up on the Diamond Factor soon. But thank you again,
Thank
and
you.
I'll get information out to you and the rest of the audience on the date that you're going to be on the podcast, so you can tell everyone all about it. Sound good?
Thank you, Jackie. Queen Jackie.
See you
Love
later.
you.
Love you too. Bye. Swoosh.